Hey guys, Sherman here with the Daily Dose, episode 4. Um, want to talk a little bit about what's going on. We've been getting some great questions. So you guys can send me any questions that you would like. I'll make sure that I get to each question. It may not be the next day because, for instance, last night I received about 5 or 6 questions, so I won't be able to get to all of those today. I'm gonna try to keep this in a certain time frame so you guys can put on your schedule so you can know exactly how long I'll be on, when I'll be on, and that type of thing right there, so we can make it consistent. Our first question came from Carrie. She asked me a very good question. This is a fairly tough question, but before I answer for Carrie specifically and anyone else, I don't think this is a black and white answer when it comes to this type of question. So she said, I'm going to read it here. Carrie said, "For me, a big thing I struggle with in business is this. On your path to success, how do you determine if what you are struggling with at the time is a roadblock or a dead end? How do you know when to keep grinding and push through or change your methods?" Carrie, that's a great question. I think for the most part, you don't ever give up. You don't ever quit. You may have to put something on the back burner for a little while, but I think most ideas are great. I think the thing that really separates most people is basically their action, their doing, right? Just because something is very hard or it isn't going quote unquote your way, that does not mean that it's not going in the way that's gonna, basically show fruit later on in your life or later on in your career. I think that everything you go through would definitely benefit you in the long run. Now, of course, if we're talking about your business and you're losing money every single day, end over end, of course, you got to figure out what works for you and when you're willing to sort of cut those ties. But as far as trying to get something off the ground and just having it be persistent, grinding. I don't think you ever have to really stop at that, because just because something doesn't take off in your time frame doesn't mean that it's not going to take off, right? Can you imagine, sort of starting something, you stop doing it, and then you see someone else come back a couple years later with your exact same idea, but they just decided to stick with it. I think that's the big thing that separates these businesses that basically stick around for a long time and those that don't, because every business is going to have its ups and downs, or each person is going to have their ups and downs, but it's basically how you respond and how you just continue to attack that goal. Me personally, there was definitely times that I wanted to quit, like we talked about beforehand. It was hard, it was stressful, at times it wasn't a lot of fun except when I was coaching. But if I would have quit, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today. Obviously, I'm still striving for greatness, as everyone is saying lately. I still have so much more that I want to achieve and stuff like that. Me personally, I won't give up on a goal or anything. I may have to stop it and put it on the back burner for a little while if it's really not working at that time, but everything's put on your heart for a reason, I think. So I say that you don't ever give up on something. It may not just work at that time, but I think you can definitely do it. So that's that first question. That was a great question, Carrie. Thanks for that question. The next question came from Dave. He asked me, he said, "What are your thoughts on leadership mindset? How do you lead yourself positively, and how do you lead others, family, friends, direct reports, and business to also be positive?" He was like, for example, to not accept obstacles or to blame others, to accept responsibility. Now this question right here is right there. Like, this is a great question from Dave. He knows me. This is where I basically thrive. This is sort of my thing right here. It's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. Now, instilling the type of mindset that you want, that leadership mindset that Dave's asking about, you have to let people know that you will not, from day one, you let them know that you will not accept excuses. Right? That's sort of how we started our gym, with the whole no excuses thing, and now it's a part of our gym's culture. It's a part of the people that are in the gym. They understand that I will not take excuses. Of course, stuff happens, and things may be more difficult to do at the time, but when is anything great gonna come easily, or anything worth having? Like they say, you know, when is it gonna just be super easy? It's not, right? So what I really try to do with the people around me, I basically try to give them every opportunity to be successful. And if something bad happens, I don't even really talk about the issue at hand. I talk about, all right, this happened, how are we gonna make it better, right? So I'm immediately going to the positive, because like bad stuff's gonna happen, so that's just part of it. But how are we gonna respond? My wife will tell you, I'm such a big believer in that things happen for a reason, and how you respond is more important than what really happens, right? Of course, horrible things are gonna happen, great things are gonna happen, but how you really respond. Jeff Evans said, "Suck it up and keep moving." Basically, that's it. But I like to say, how are you going to respond when something bad happens? You know, are you going to sulk it? Are you going to say, "Poor me, you know, I can't do it, I'm not made for this"? Like, there's nothing different between what someone who's super successful doing and you, besides like their mindset and what they're doing every single day, right? So if you're doing the right thing every single day, you don't have a choice but to eventually reach, you know, that success, whatever it is you're going for, whether it's time with your family, finances, you know, just whatever it is. So Dave, I really try to just let them know from day one, like, no excuses. We will come across obstacles, you know, not when, not if, it's always like when. I'm always like, all right, what are we gonna do when this happens? Because if they're already expecting it to happen, when it happens, it's sort of like, all right, we already talked about this, so what are we gonna do now? I'm definitely not a pessimistic person. I definitely don't think the sky's falling. I'm a very optimistic person, but I'm also very real with myself. So I know that, you know, things are gonna happen. So when these things happen, I'm trying to figure out how to overcome them very quickly, right? I'm not gonna get stuck in sulking and saying, you know, oh man, I gotta try to deal with that and all that. I'm trying to problem, let's attack it, let's kill it, and let's move on. All right, so that's sort of what I try to do as far as that goes, Dave, that leadership mindset. But it's definitely mental. Like, this is a mental game, life in general, but especially in business and your career, it's a mental game. And then my last question, it was from Kelly. She said, "You are a man of faith and you are also a successful businessman. I'd like to hear your thoughts on balance between staying humble and also trying to succeed and be the best. And who, besides your wife, who do you allow to speak truth in your life?" Man, that's a deep question. It's a deep question, Kelly. I like it. So I'm a man of faith, right? Whether it's your thing or not, that's what I stand for. I'm a man of faith. So there's principles that I live by. Being humble, having humility is one of them. Now, if I'm being totally honest here, that's something that I basically have to try to keep under wraps each and every day. I'm a prideful person by nature. I think I'm the best. I want to be the best. I feel that no one works harder than me, all this type of stuff right here. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you come off as a rude, you know, ignorant jerk, basically, I mean, we all know those type of people who, you know, they basically think that, you know, their crap doesn't stink and that type of thing right there. They're the best of the best when they're really not that good at their craft or whatever it is. You know, that's when you really run into the problem. So it's something that I definitely try to keep under wraps, you know, because I don't think that you know, anything or anyone can stop me from achieving my goals that I have for me and my family. But at the same time, being a man of faith, I understand that, you know, without God, I wouldn't be able to do anything, right? So that's how I really keep it in perspective. I understand that I've been given talents. I'm going to try to use them. I'm going to try to grind and work. But at the end of the day, I understand that the Lord has blessed me with a certain mindset, a certain personality, a certain set of skills, and I just try to use those to my full ability. As far as who I let speak into my life, besides my wife, the first thing I'll say is very few people. Obviously, I have a lot of people that give me advice and tips and stuff like that. Some of it I take with a grain of salt. There's 2 to 3 guys that I really go after and I seek advice from. Anything they tell me, I really take it to heart, because I know that they have my best interest at heart. They aren't wanting to see me do well up to a certain point and then, you know, basically hoping that I fail. So there's only 2 or 3 guys that I really let speak into my life. My wife knows who these guys are, and I really seek them in any major move that I'm thinking about doing, because I like to have outside perspective. Because I could be here thinking about the gym and other stuff that I'm doing, and my mindset would be so focused that I may be just missing some big things that could really change the entire trajectory of what I plan on doing. So I have a couple guys that I really let speak into my life, but other than that, I don't let too many people speak into my life. Of course, I listen and stuff like that. Jeff Evans said two-faced. No, not two-faced. You have to be careful who you let speak into your life, man. Some people, they act like they want to see you well, but I'm a huge believer that, you know, people act like they want to see you well, but a lot of people only want to see you do well up to a certain point. And once you pass that, you know, they don't want to see you do well and stuff like that. So you got to be careful who you let speak into your life, because most people are going to put their fears on you, right? They're going to put their doubts on you. So if they see you doing something that they don't think is possible, they're going to tell you that it's not possible. And then maybe you'll be like, oh, well, you know, maybe that's true, when it's not, you know. I don't think there's anything that anyone that really dedicates it and puts their mind to it can achieve. So you have to be careful who you allow speaking to your life. But I do believe you should have people, men and women, you should have other people speaking into your life, other people building you up, helping you, challenging you. I'm big on not having yes men around, right? Yes men will kill you, they'll get you in trouble. They'll tell you yes about every single thing that you say, everything you do, but then when the rubber meets the road, these yes men are not going to be there to back you up. You want someone that's going to tell you no when you're wrong and yes when you're right. So that's what I would say. Definitely have some people speaking to your life, but be careful. Don't let everyone speak into your life. So that's all I have today, guys. I'm going to get out of here. You guys send me some questions. I'll be on tomorrow, 11:45. I appreciate it. Don't forget, 11:45, tell a friend to tell a friend. I'll see you guys soon.